enterprise reps, this is how I went from no way in hell am I getting to my number to being in the driver's seat and 5xing my territory's output within 6 months when I was a rep at Salesforce. So this was my first year at Salesforce, and I was not in a good place. I was embarrassed, and I asked my VP to go to Starbucks with me. And my whole goal for this conversation was to help him understand how screwed I was and how set up for failure I was. I was embarrassed, but I just had to come on and say it. I said, look, I love you. Thank you for taking a chance on me, because he did, but there's no way in hell am I going to get to my number this year. And I remember sitting there just feeling defeated. And he said something to me that I'll never forget to this day. He said, you are putting all of your energy on the scoreboard. And because the scoreboard doesn't reflect what you want it to, you're now coming up with all of these excuses to justify why you're not where you need to be. And when he said that, I was just a deer in headlights. And then he said something to me. He said, so what are you gonna do? And I said, you know what? Let me think about that. I'll get back to you tomorrow. So I went home that night full of fury and rage, because I had this big master plan. I was like, you know what? He's gonna see the light. He knows that I got the scraps, the leftover accounts, because it's my first year, and that's how it works in enterprise sales. You don't get the great accounts, you get the leftovers. Like, why doesn't he see that? Why doesn't he understand? And I was so furious. And then I remember looking in the mirror, and it just hit me like a ton of bricks. He's right. I'm putting all this energy on things that are outside of my control, and because of that, I'm making excuses and having a pity party. So I changed my whole approach overnight. I made a decision right then and there that I will never look at the scoreboard ever again in my day-to-day. Every report that was revenue, ACV, all of that, I did not look at, because it wasn't a good use of my time. I only looked at inputs. As an enterprise rep, my on-sites, my meetings, my activity, my calls and emails. Enterprise reps love to ignore that, but that's what moves the needle. And I put all my energy into that, and my mindset was simple. It may not be my fault that I have a bad territory, but it's 100% my responsibility to figure it out. So I told myself I was going to burn it down and do everything in my power to make the most of my situation. And because my mindset shifted, my activity increased, my opportunities increased, my pipeline increased, my deals progressed faster, because I wasn't focused on closing everybody because I was desperate. I was focusing on controlling everything in my control. And then because of that, by the end of the year, I scraped and clawed, but I ended up 5xing my territory's production from the year prior, simply from that shift in the mindset. So if you're not performing well, I don't want you to have your pity party. What I want you to do is focusing on controlling everything in your control, because I know the difference that it makes. And if you do that, I promise you, you will do better.